Kia ora, I'm Pat, and this is Pat's Postcard, an audio postcard from wherever I am. And I'm on Rakiura, Stewart Island, New Zealand's third largest island to the south of the South Island. I'm at Port William campsite on the Rakiura Great Walk. And as a volunteer warden, you get to meet lots of people, and I bumped into Sahmay, who's going to talk with me about, amongst other things, how to cook and eat a paua, also known elsewhere in the world as abalone. Hey, thanks for doing this, Sahmay. Why don't you just describe where we are, because it's a pretty unique spot.
We're in an absolute horde of sandflies at Port William campsite on Rakiura, Stewart Island, and we're looking out at a beautiful sea, and it's been a lovely sunny day.
Oh, it's been an amazing day.
Yeah,
we walked over to Maori Beach.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely glorious walking through those woodlands with those, I guess they're rimu mostly, those big ones.
Yeah, and middle as well, which is the ones with the leaves that kind of point out to the side like that, up the stem.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's not going to be any use of it, things that point out like that.
But absolutely amazing woodland.
Yeah, really nice, and a stunning beach too. And do you see the mussels underneath the swing bridge as well? There's a whole massive blue-lipped mussels.
Oh wow.
Yeah. We were thinking about getting some on our way back.
So you're down here for a year and a half?
Yeah, I've just moved here for... Sorry?
Yeah, go on.
I've just moved here about a week and a day ago, so last Friday, and my partner and I are working on with this group called Surset, which is the Stewart Island Rakiura Community Environment Trust, and we are trapping and removing pests and weed plants from around the Oban and Stewart Island Township area, which is where the main chunk of the 410 population live, is in Oban. And so we're looking at improving the trapping area from a small area to completely cover the township, and also focusing on Darwin's barberry, which you said is barberry thorn, or?
I think it's barberry thorn, which is really invasive, nasty, sharp pest species of plant.
Like gorse, but it's very efficient at spreading as well.
So I know this community project, Trust, has been really quite successful, hasn't it? Because they've had kiwi in the town.
Yeah. I think that a lot of it is to do with the locals are really involved in their backyard. They're really involved in a lot of, like, I think for a while, it's almost its 20-year anniversary, the trust, and for almost the entirety of that they've only had 1 to 2 permanent staff, and then this year with the funding from Doc's Job for Nature, which was hoping to boost the New Zealand economy through putting money into conservation jobs, and they got a permanent staff of 18 now, up from 2 or 3. So it used to be completely run by volunteers, and they've done that for ages, and they've got the local school kids do a track line up the back of the township where they all have their own traps which are coloured in and like have their name on them, and they do competitions where they hold up the biggest fattest rat and whoever can catch the most and things like that. So the community's really involved, and there's korora, I think, which are the little blue penguins coming to the town, and there's kiwi, and there should be weka, but the wildcat numbers are up, and so once those get controlled, hopefully there'll be weka back in the
We saw one here just the other night, a feral cat.
Feral cat. I was going to say a weka, because
no, not weka, no, feral cats.
Feral cat, they really decimate, especially in New Zealand, because we just have a lot of little invertebrates and also flightless birds that are just, they're just so, they're very vulnerable to the cats. So no, it's been awesome for the first week of being here though.
And you told us a lovely story which I want you to recount again about the paua, which is, I think that most people might know outside of New Zealand as the Pacific abalone, which is a real delicacy, as well as being an amazingly beautiful shell.
Oh, stunning. So I haven't eaten paua. I'm from Auckland, from the biggest city in New Zealand, and I haven't had paua since we were visiting Wellington, which would be maybe like 5 or 6 years ago. But when we came down here, it was one of my first missions to find paua, because it's in abundance on the rocks around here. And so last night at Maori Beach campsite, my partner and I were walking around the rocks, and there were some, I just started finding them. You usually have to dive for them, like free dive for them, but I just started finding them in the seaweed at low, because it was such a low tide that had just come up, and so they basically sucker, like stick onto the rocks, and you just have to put your knife behind them and pop them off, because they've got a foot that holds them, so you pop it off, and then once you've got it, you can put your knife in at the very tip of the paua where the air breathing holes reach the tip, and you just slide it underneath and pop the actual meat out, but it goes very rigid because they're basically like gone into fright and like squeeze themselves together, and so you have to pull the guts off. And my dad told me that you can't chuck the guts in the sea because that angers Tangaroa, who's the atua, the god of the sea in Māori, and so you bury the paua guts in the sand, so the atua doesn't have to, Tangaroa doesn't have to see the guts of his children in the thing. And so, and then we just slice them super thinly, and if you're at home you can cook them in garlic and butter, but we didn't have garlic because we didn't prepare for paua, so we just cooked them in salt and a little bit of oil, and you cook it really hot, and it was delicious. It was really nice. It kind of tastes like, almost like bacon, I'd say. Yeah, if you haven't had it before. It's delicious,
And the shell is just out of this world, isn't it?
Yeah, it's stunning. Honestly, it's beautiful, and like they're everywhere here. Like a lot of people use them as ash trays because they're so like, you know, they're just everywhere.
Iridescent greens and blues and silvers, and it's just an amazing colour on the inside of the shell.
Yeah, I honestly would really like to know why the shells need to be that way. You know, why it needs to be so beautiful on the inside when it's just holding a meaty bit of flesh and nothing else. So
any evolutionary biologists out there might be able to tell us.
exactly tell us the background of paua, but it is stunning, and there's tons of, it's a really big part of New Zealand, like jewellery and things like that is like paua shell, and it's huge. That, along with the ponamu, the greenstone, are pretty much the primary indicators of New Zealand jewellery.
Hey, thanks, Sahmay.
That's right, no worries, nice to chat to you.
That was Sahmay, who has just started working for the Stewart Island Rakiura Environmental Trust. It was lovely talking with her on Port William campsite amongst a cloud of sandflies. She was so interesting and passionate about the work she's doing. Thanks, Sahmay.